Remember this video? This is Trump. I think this came out like maybe almost a year ago now. This is him pleading the fifth. Remember this business?
Is the truth.
Hold on.
The whole truth and nothing but the truth.
I do.
Thank you.
I once asked, if you're innocent, why are you taking the Fifth Amendment? I was asking that question. Now I know the answer to that question.
By the way, real quick. He wasn't asking if you're innocent, why take the Fifth Amendment. He said the mob takes the Fifth Amendment. If you take the Fifth, you're guilty. He didn't ask. It's like it's like Tucker Carlson and his bullshit. Like, we're just asking questions. You are not. You're making statements, and you're backing your statements up with bullshit. And just because you rise on the last word of a sentence doesn't make it a question. You fucking weirdo.
When your family, your company, and all the people in your orbit have become the targets of an unfounded, politically motivated witch hunt, supported by lawyers, prosecutors, and even the fake news media, you really have no choice. Anyone in my position not taking the Fifth Amendment would be a fool.
Okay, by the way, so just for those following along at home, apparently Ivanka and Don Jr. aren't fools, but he and Eric are. Because, yeah. And I'm pretty sure Eric and Don were both equal vice presidents and ran, the company while he was president. And so they kind of took it over. So they had equal spots on there. And one of them took the fifth and the other one didn't.
Absolute fool. Accordingly, under the advice of my counsel and for all of the above reasons, I respectfully decline to answer the questions under the rights and privileges afforded to every citizen under the United States Constitution.
What Constitution? I thought, and by the way, didn't Biden shred it? Isn't there a two-tier justice? What's fucking difference? Dude, we have a two-tier justice system. You don't have a chance. You're being railroaded. Pleading the fifth won't do shit. Well, at this point, you might as well just get it off your chest. You might as well just say it. Why the ever-loving fuck would you hide anything? Now, I mean, you're fucked anyways. You might as well go, come get me, Kappa, right? Why take the rights afforded to you under a document that, according to you, the current president is wiping his ass with it?
This will be my answer to any further questions.
So the 2020 Statement of Financial Condition contained false and misleading valuations and statements. Is that correct?
Same answer.
You knew at the time it was finalized that the 2020 Statement of Financial Condition contained false and misleading statements. Is that correct?
Same answer.
In preparing the 2020 Statement of Financial Condition, Alan Weisselberg, Jeff McConney, and others worked at your direction and followed your instructions to inflate asset valuations on the Statement of Financial Condition by employing false or misleading assumptions. Is that correct?
Same answer.
Okay. Real quick. First of all, this fuckhead thinks he has total immunity. I'm just revisiting this for a couple points. His argument that you have total immunity while you're president to do fucking anything, and that everything you do is in the line of duty. So even if you fuck around with your business and do all kinds of shit, it's just so that you can avoid being attacked by our enemies or something. I don't know, whatever. Anyways, point being is, if you'll notice, this is about the preparation of his 2020 Statement of Financial, whatever it's called.
False and misleading statements. So the 2020 Statement of Financial Condition contained false and misleading value.
First of all, 2020, why the fuck are you involved in it at all? I mean, it doesn't seem like, obviously, if he's pleading the fifth in this regard, is it so that he doesn't admit that he violated the emoluments clause? Anyways, so this is from his deposition. Now, real quick, in relation to this, if I may, this is Trump's most recent Fox interview. Now, I suppose, I didn't make a button for this, and I absolutely should. Ladies and gentlemen, I must warn you before we go any further, and I shouldn't spring this on you. It's just rude of me. But giving yourself time to prepare emotionally, physically, psychosexually, whatever you have to do, whatever you do, what you doing, right?
He can do things with his tongue you wouldn't believe it.
So just protect yourself. I don't know, anybody who's squeamish, leave the room. All right, here we go. If I may. Now, this is a Fox News. This is, I don't know. I haven't watched this, but apparently it's, even compared to some of his regular shit, it's relatively legendary. And by the way, has anybody shaken hands with this dude since the syphilis stuff started? I mean, anybody.
Don't touch my hands because they're dirty.
I believe me, I know. Okay, here we go. Whew.
So now, here with more on his plan to...
And he means moron. Thanks. This is this is Sean Hannity, right?
I agree. I'm a dope.
Yes, that's the right guy. Also, good of you to go with Trump Orange just for the interview. Is it a cult ritual that you guys share the same tube of bass? Just circus peanut.
Make America great again. The 45th President of the United States, Donald Trump. Mr. President, great to have you back, sir. How are you?
Well, thank you very much. That is some list you read off, and you can probably double and triple it. It's so bad. I don't think we've ever been in a position like this. It's terrible what's happened to our country. And
I want to see the list. Why don't you put the list on? If he's going to reference the list, start the fucking thing with the list. Or at least put it on a separate screen. So I want to see the list. What's the list of? I don't even know what's being tripled.
3 years.
Well, let's start in Iowa, though. The largest margin of victory prior
and one of the lowest turnouts. Reconcile those for me.
To your 30-point win on Monday was Bob Dole in 1988 with about just under 13% victory margin.
Yeah, but then the party was a functioning party, and they had a lot of viable options instead of a cult. Barnacle, like it used to be, cult members barnacled onto the Republican Party, and now it's like the Republican Party is the barnacle on the cult.
This is historic in so many ways.
Yeah, that historic margin, and yet you only got 5,000 more votes than Ted Cruz did.
How do you analyze this? What happened? Why was this bigger than any other Iowa caucus?
Yeah, that also shit description. It was not bigger than any other Iowa caucus. Like 80,000 fewer people showed up.
Because the Biden administration is so bad, and we now have a contrast. You didn't have a contrast so much before, and now you have a contrast. Why? What happened? We get the most votes of any sitting president in history, and then somebody else takes over, and they take a look at what we had versus what they have now. And the difference is so stark. It's so massive. It's so different. The country is a different place. We were respected all over.
All right. First of all, he lost me there. Is he talking about the voter or the actual Biden administration or the Democratic Party or the MAGA base?
The world. We got the largest tax cuts ever, the largest regulation cuts ever.
Yes. You wonder why so many trains were going off the track.
We rebuilt our military, Sean. We did everything, even right to try. You know what right to try is? If you're able to use some of these incredible new drugs that they're making, bio drugs and other drugs, and people's
what kind of drugs?
Incredible new drugs that they're making, bio drugs and
bio drugs. Those are the kind where which is autobiographical drugs are the worst kind because they make people talk about themselves in the third person. It's one of the contraindications.
Other drugs, and people's lives are being saved. You never could do it. You'd have to go to Asia.
I mean, some people die. Yeah, obviously they don't always work. Some people, it can be, it could be a painful death as opposed to a fading death. But whatever. Okay.
Have to go to Europe, different places all over the world. Now you get them here. And that was a hard thing. 58 years they tried to get that if you were terminally ill.
By the way, 58 years ago, the idea of a cutting-edge treatment versus 10 years ago is stark. I'm just saying, just because these assholes are late to catch up with the latest medical science and try to use fucking fish tank cleaner to stave off a respiratory infection does not mean that the rest of the world is still in, like, if you got a wart, cut a potato in half, rub it on it, and bury it in the backyard during a full moon.
They didn't want to give you a drug, even if they thought it might work, because they said, we don't want to hurt the people. I said, no, they're terminally ill. We're going to do something, and we got to.
Is that what you said? They didn't realize they were treating terminally ill people? Man, these I don't know what it is. These pharmaceutical companies, like, do they even know what they do for a living?
Done. It was not easy either, because the drug companies, nobody wanted it. The country didn't want it.
Nobody wanted. People were hoping these assholes would die. What? Nobody wanted this. I did something that nobody wanted. That's it was a terrible idea, and I still did it, and it was really difficult. Sorry, okay. Nobody wanted it. Wait, listen.
And we got it done. It was not easy either, because the drug companies, nobody wanted it. The country didn't want it.
What? What is that? That's fucking amazing. That is the... This is so stupid. Okay. The country didn't want it. We were so popular. I did all kinds of shit that everybody's mad about. Oh, shit. Oh, God. That's... I don't even know.
They were worried about liability. People now sign a document. There's no liability, and they can take these drugs. And Sean, we're saving...
There's no doubt. If you can't sue, you were going to die anyways, fuckhead. What did you think? What are you complaining? I know it hurts. You think death was going to be easy? Oh, he's dead already. Never mind. Okay. Is the lawsuit over? What do you mean his family has rights? Get the fuck out of here.
Thousands and thousands of lives. It's been an amazing miracle. We did so much, and you would have never had Ukraine.
Also for the record, not a miracle. Just the advances in medical science. Like, literally, like, one of the reasons why they didn't do kind of right to try was because the treatments that they were talking about in the 60s and 70s, they didn't know how diseases progressed quite as much as they do now, thanks electron microscopes, but they also, and statistically as well, but they're not gonna, the shit they wanted to try was a little fucked up. Like, it was like, well, this might kill you, and it might hurt, and of course, it might make what you have more contagious, but we could give it a shot. It might save your life, but everyone in your house might die.
You would have never had the attack on Israel. None of these things. And you wouldn't have had inflation because I had oil so low.
You didn't have oil so low. The fucking economy collapsed. Everybody went home. Nobody was going anywhere, you asshole.
And now we have the exact opposite. We have a mess. We have the worst president in history.
Well, let me ask you this.
Let me ask you this. You see the stock market. We know you have some investments. Have they gone up or down in the last couple of years? Did they? Have you gained more in your investments than? Oh, you bet on what? Ah, I see.
I love the state of New Hampshire. I love the people of New Hampshire. I don't like their primary system for one reason. They have what's called an open primary.
Which, yeah, it's like a pansexual primary. That's the thing. Like, when they say political whore in New Hampshire, they mean it. I mean, on a professional level.
Already we know that nearly 4,000 Democratic voters have switched affiliation to Republican or undeclared, meaning independent, ahead of the primary, according to the Secretary of State's office. And it is believed, for example, one woman who's on a co-chair of Nikki Haley's campaign, her own daughter, a Democrat, changed her affiliation from Democrat to Republican to vote for Haley in the primary. But even Governor Sununu, not a friend of yours, told our own Neil Cavuto that it's troubling that many of these people that will switch as Democrats and turn to independents and vote in the Republican primary, that when push comes to shove, that they would choose Biden in the end over any Republican. I'm not that fond of that system. Does that concern you?
Oh, yeah. They fucking love it if they can use it against Democrats. It can go both ways. The only reason you can't benefit from it right now, motherfuckers, because we've already got our dude in office.
The Real Clear Politics average has you up by 13. The Suffolk poll just out today, I think, had you up by 16. There was the CNN poll that had you up by 7. Does that system bother you?
It bothers me, and the governor should have done something about it.
Yeah, the freedom to just vote across stuff, like, I don't know, who are these libertarian Republican assholes who think people should be able to do whatever they want?
Instead of talking, waste his time with Nikki, because she's not going to make it. She has no chance. She's got no way. MAGA's not going to be with her. And, you know, when you said the Democrats voting, no, it doesn't say that. It said about Nikki that 50% of the Republicans would be lost to Nikki, only to Nikki, not even to...
What?
You know, when you said the Democrats voting, no, it doesn't say that. It said about Nikki that 50% of the Republicans would be lost to Nikki, only to Nikki, not even to Ron DeSanctimonious. So, you know, it's a bad thing for her, but it's a bad thing for us. Who has a...
All right, I don't know what the fuck. Yeah. 50% of who?
System where Democrats are allowed to vote in the Republican primary.
The same people who have the system where Republicans are allowed to vote in the Democratic primary if there is one. And by the way, you would like this system if you weren't a one-termer. Yeah, just throwing that out there.
And New Hampshire's an incredible place. I love the people. We won New Hampshire last time. It was fantastic what we did, and you know we have great spirit.
So, and did they change the system since then, fuckhead? When you won the state? Was it a different, did they just decide in the middle of your, and what does that say about you if they did, which they didn't do, it's always been this way. But what does that tell you if you think they changed their system to allow anybody to vote across party lines while you were in office after voting for you? Like, oh, that was a fucking mistake. All right, guys, next time anybody can vote for anybody. This is just bullshit. I don't even know.
Great everything, but you need a system. You need a governor that's going to get it changed, not just talking about it. He's been talking about it for 4 years, never got it done. So Democrats are allowed to vote, which they're going to vote for her because they don't want to run against me. They want to run against her. You know, it's a very simple system. We
in deference to
are leading Biden in every poll. Michigan just came out. We're leading by 11. Georgia just came out. We're leading by 13 points. We're leading everywhere now.
Good luck with that.
And she's not. You know, she has one obsolete poll that she likes. She's about 2 months old, where she was leading Biden. Well, those days are gone. She's not leading Biden anymore. The problem is the Democrats.
Why? What happened? Did she say something anywhere near as the shit you've been saying?
Democrats want
stupid
her to run desperately, so they have a lot of Democrats signing up in New Hampshire. But I don't think it's going to matter. I saw one where we're at 50 or 51, and she was at 34, I believe. And I think we're going to.
Sounds like she's. So she's added 10% from Iowa, and she's moving in that direction, and you basically stalled out. So essentially, if she could carve off 3% of your baseline support, I'm just saying, it sounds like she's got a shot if she sticks in there of beating you in the number of delegates long term. It's a scary notion. And, I mean, she's going to keep campaigning. She's got money flowing in, and
in very good shape like we were. And if you look at Iowa, nobody knew we were going to blow it out like that. We were at, I think it finishes off close to 53. We won by 30 some odd points, and nobody thought that was possible. We doubled the all-time record, more than doubled, I guess.
Yeah, but you also cut the number of people who showed up in half. Jesus Christ. Yeah, I talk about this all the time. When somebody's throwing the percentages around and they don't tell you the base number, it's a fucking shell game. They're fucking with you.
The all-time record. I think a similar thing's going to happen here. But here, independents and Democrats are allowed to vote.
What a bunch of shit.
So in order to try and stop Trump, they go out and they sign up, and they can sign up very easily. And Sununu should have stopped it.
Yeah. Let me ask you, I mean, you got a lot of praise for your speech, your victory speech in Iowa, and people noticed that you were particularly gracious. I noticed in the town hall, the last town hall we did together, the one you did with Brett and Martha, that you seem to have taken on a more gracious tone. If that,
You seem to be pussing out. What's up?
that's the way to say it. Maybe the question I get asked most often, I've asked you this question before.
Did you dip your head in a bucket of old pennies? Because that's the only way I can explain what color you are right now.
You know, why is Donald Trump always fight so hard? Dennis Miller brought this up on the program last night a little bit.
Jesus Christ, you had Dennis Miller on? No wonder I missed it.
Of humility with Donald Trump will go a long way. Yes, he's been persecuted. His family has suffered. He's suffered. Yes, it's been unfair, but he fights hard. He loves his country, and sometimes maybe you shouldn't be as personal. What was your reaction to that?
Well, I know it, and I know it very well, but we also have to win, Sean. If I were a different type of person, I think I would have been out of office a long time ago. You wouldn't have even gone through.
You were out of office a long time ago. It's been almost the exact amount of time you were in office in the first place. Just saying.
But they hit me with Russia before the election even. I mean, if you look.
Well, that's because Russia interfered with that election cycle. And you were running cover for them at every turn.
Look at it. It was before the.
Also, there was a weird thing where this private dude was trying to show off the quality of the tech he had, and he discovered a bunch of Russian phones being used in the White House that just all of a sudden started showing up when your transition team was there, and he pointed it out to the authorities and was like, guys, it's a bunch of Russian cell phones all started pinging in and around and near and inside the White House as soon as he took, as the transition team started showing. Is that weird? Or
2016 election, it was all set up. And I fired Comey. I did a big job. We got rid of a lot of the deep state. And I will tell you, then.
What the fuck are you talking about? This asshole thinks Chris Wray is worse.
We had the COVID come 2.5 years later, but nobody ever had a better economy. We had the greatest economy in the history of our country.
Yeah, not true at all.
We had the strongest border in the history of our country.
Thanks, COVID.
I built over 500 miles of wall.
No, you didn't. You added about 45 miles to the already existing barrier, and to build a wall of that size, you had to extend access roads to the very end of it, which gave migrants a clearer and easier path to get around the fucking thing.
We got Mexico to give us 28,000 free soldiers.
Where are they, by the way? Why aren't they here? Couldn't they, Mexican soldiers, what are they, because I have some errands. Do we all get assigned a Mexican soldier now? They gave them to us. I mean, obviously, we'd all have a different use for them.
Free of charge. Not that easy to get, by the way. I had to do a lot of maneuvering, including tariffs and other things to get it. But we, by the way, speaking of tariffs, we took in hundreds of billions of dollars from China. And of that, we gave $28 billion to our farmers because they were abused by China.
No, they weren't. Your trade deal had nothing to do with agricultural shit. They agreed to buy they wanted to buy food and pigs, especially because they needed them. That was never a question. Then it was durable goods and stuff manufactured in the United States that we were trying to get them to buy, and they didn't get shit. They didn't fucking, where is it?
China don't buy, none of you buy.
Just fucking... It's so stupid. Like, they were always buying corn. They were always buying pork. They were always buying wheat and soybeans, you dumb son of a bitch. They weren't buying manufactured goods from here at all. And so his war about manufactured goods fucked the people who do have a consistent trade point with the Chinese, and that was people who sold foodstuffs.
It did to our farmers was horrible. And we did.
They didn't do shit to our farmers. That's why the farmers were like, we just want a level playing field and we want to be able to sell. They needed it. And they didn't even ultimately buy as much as the deals. Like, that's fucking
A great job for our country. You know, again, the largest tax cuts in history. The Democrats want to double up and triple up on the taxes. They want to double your taxes and triple your taxes.
Yeah, where's the double your taxes, triple your taxes bill that's going through? Are they going to be able to pass it through the House? That's my question. So Mike Johnson's not going to pass the immigration bill, but he's going to pass a giant tax increase for Democrats? Huh.
I got you the bigger than the Reagan tax cuts. You and I were talking about that the other day, and you called up about the Reagan cuts and our cuts. Our cuts were substantially bigger. We got rid of the death
Yeah, fuck Ronald Reagan and his bullshit.
tax, or the estate tax for farmers and small manufacturers. You know, I mean, what we did was an amazing thing.
Those tax cuts.
And getting back to your one part of the question, though, we did all of that, and we had to fight off all of the witch hunts and the scandals and the horrible these.
And golf. Yeah, don't forget golf. You had to golf. You had to golf more than any president in history on your own properties, while the American taxpayer was paying for, I guess, hotel rooms for Secret Service at above market price. So, I mean, that's going to be exhausting. I mean, you had to sit down while you're trying to run the country and sit down there and decide to charge the Secret Service, the people who would take a fucking bullet for you, whose salaries are being paid by the American people, to charge them more than you would charge, I don't know, Ina Yashishin, the woman who pretended to be a fucking Rothschild who stayed at Mar-a-Lago, or any of these fucking rando, like, foreign dignitaries and their like an entourages.
People, what they did, Russia, Ukraine, 51 intelligence agents saying that the laptop from hell was created by Russia.
No, they said the stuff you were seeing that was allegedly from it was Russian disinformation. It looked very much like a Russian disinformation scam, which it was. Also, there is no laptop. It doesn't fucking exist. Feel free to at me. If anybody has a picture of it. By the way, chat room, who has, where is it? Sorry. Chat room, who has the laptop right now? Who's in charge of it? Somebody has it. We got to figure out who has the chat. Yeah. Maga's terrible week ends with a bang. Sidney Powell and Plateau, so they did what? Oh, sorry. Jump down here. Got to scroll down. Who has it? Yeah. Oh, you do? Okay. Jagan and Kareen are carrying it. Okay. All right. Well, be careful with it. There's, first, and remember, it can never be photographed. You can take 1,000 pictures of your lunch, but no one is allowed to photograph I've told you guys 1,000 times. Nobody's allowed to have a picture of the actual laptop. Okay.
Not by Hunter Biden, okay? It was Hunter Biden all the way. They lied to Congress. They lied to everybody. 2 impeachments that went nowhere. They went out.
He was actually impeached. He was impeached both times. He just wasn't removed from office.
Absolutely nowhere. But
well, it also got. You can argue that the second one you were already on your way out the door, but they all agreed that you should be able to face justice in a regular courtroom.
I mean, if I were a softer individual. And I'll tell you something.
If you were a softer individual, you wouldn't actually have any bones, you fucking marshmallow.
Ron DeSantis or Nikki or anybody else, if they were in my position, if they were here, they would have been hit just as hard. These people.
No, I don't think either one of them is dumb enough to steal classified documents and be aware that they weren't supposed to keep them, and then fight the National Archives and the government to not give them back and engage in a conspiracy to not return them. I'm just, if Pence wouldn't do it and that dude would suck a fucking bowling ball out of your butthole if he thought it would make you smile, I don't know where that came from, but it's true, then the rest of these assholes aren't gonna make the same stupid fucking mistakes. And I think the chances that Nikki Haley paid off a porn star is fairly slim.
People play tough, much tougher than the Republicans play. And the Republicans have to get tougher. But Nikki would...
Well, if they're going to play that way, sure.
I know Nikki very well. She worked for me for a long time.
Right, you gave her a job because you thought she was qualified. Yeah, that's it. Or I suppose you were trying to sabotage the UN and America's position on the UN, which is very crucial and necessary to our national security. So you're either you put her in that position because you trusted her and you thought she would do the right thing, or you put her there so that you could destroy our national security and our engagement with the rest of the world. Which was it?
She would not be able to handle that position. She would not be able to handle the onslaught. With all of that being said,
yeah, I got to say, there's nothing even remotely in anything she's done that even comes close to the number of crimes. Like, honest to God, the chances of us hearing a story about her grabbing a strange woman by the pussy or barging in on 15-year-olds while they're changing and bragging about it, or fuck, being friends with Jeffrey Epstein for 2 goddamn decades. Slim to none.
Within the Republican Party, I want to bring unity, and within the nation, I want to bring unity. And
Totally. Kumbaya.
Unity is going to come from success, because when we had this country prior to COVID, and then even after COVID, but especially prior to COVID,
after COVID was, I mean, technically it's not after COVID. We're still having an issue with it now. It's an ongoing thing. But the bigger part of, quote, after COVID happened when Biden was in office.
China virus coming in. We had the most successful country ever in history. There's
not even close to true.
Never been anything like it, what we did. And the other side was calling me, and they were coming to me.
Yes, they were saying, sir, with tears in their eyes. I have no doubt. Every Democrat. Bernie Sanders was calling up, just fawning about how he couldn't believe how magnanimous and open-hearted you were, and just the amount of success was assuaging all of his fears about your racist, sexist tendencies.
Wanted to talk. It was all coming together. Success will bring everybody under the same tent.
Okay, then since America is far more successful now than it was when you were in office, especially during the last year of your presidency, one would think are you suggesting that we should come together under Joe Biden? That's awfully sweet.
I covered all of that. I cannot disagree with you. And frankly, this show.
Well, that's different than won't. You might. There's a lot of reasons why you cannot disagree with them. I'm going to go with if you did, your own audience would eat you alive.
So, me personally, I've been vindicated because as many networks peddled their lies and conspiracy theories, we day in and day out, we were peeling every layer of the onion. We got the Russia hoax right, as vindicated by the Horowitz report, the Durham report.
No.
I do want to ask you this. The last time I interviewed you, I asked you if you think that Joe Biden is going to be the Democratic nominee, and you said no. Do you still feel that way? And if you don't think it's him, who do you think is likely to replace him?
Look, he can't put 2 sentences together.
Jesus Christ.
He can't find the stairs off a stage, which there are a lot of them up there, believe me. They're all over the place.
Yeah, the whole thing is a stair, if you really think of it. It's any layer that you're standing on, any level that has a level below it is technically a stair. And I know construction.
He can't find his way off a stage when he makes a very short speech, and it has to be short because it can't be long.
Okay, let's see. So officially, the speech starts at 4 minutes and 5 seconds, and it goes for 50 minutes. It's almost an hour. And then he talks about, and then I don't know if you noticed this, but right here at the end, back this up, hold on. He found his way off the stage pretty easily. There you go. He's talking to people. He's got friends. You know what friends are? You ever seen anybody with fucking friends? Look at that. Yeah, people, and he knows people, and glad handing. Yeah, there you go. Yeah, see this whole thing where, see the stairs were in the front? He just kind of walks right off, and he just goes, hey, look at that. It all happened really quickly. There you go. And the other thing, too, is at the beginning of the fucking thing, he knew the names of everybody that was there. It was so weird. Oh, sorry. I got to turn on this one.
He can't negotiate. You look at what's happening. The whole world is blowing up. Viktor Orban, the prime minister of Hungary, very tough guy, smart
Tough, totally tough. I mean, 112% inflation.
guy,
right? But
brilliant guy, very respected, but tough. They asked him, what's going on with the world? He said one thing, very simple, bring back Trump. When Trump
that's what he said. What's going on with the world? That was his take.
was here, everybody was afraid of Trump. Now, I don't want to say that because I don't like that word.
Which one? Trump or afraid or everybody? Or I mean, there were a few words there, so.
But he said it. He's probably the toughest leader over there, one of the toughest anywhere, but highly respected and knows he gets it.
He knows he gets it? Well, I mean, if you know you get it, then who's to argue?
Said, you bring back Trump, it's all going to disappear. They all respected
Yes, if you bring back Trump, the whole world will disappear.
Trump. And they were afraid of Trump, but they all respected Trump. And it's true. Putin would have never attacked Ukraine. I got along with Putin, you know.
By the way, also, you notice how he leaves out so many things? Like ISIS would have never attacked Iran. Iran would have never fired on Pakistan. Pakistan would have never fired back. Hezbollah would have never attacked Israel. I suppose that he's just leaving that out entirely. The Sudanese civil war would have not broken out anew. Why not take all those on? Why? How come? Oh, because there's nothing in it for you.
It's good to get along with people like Putin and like others.
I don't know. I don't know if that's the case. That's like saying it's good to get along with Ted Bundy. I don't know necessarily. I mean, I would like to think that if you were trapped in a room with him, you could pretend that you were getting along with him long enough to reach an exit and escape with your life. But
you take a look at what's going on with China. They're just licking their chops right now to go into Taiwan. They wouldn't have even thought about it with me. And
okay, first of all, they've been talking about it for decades, and they can lick their fucking chops all they want. Their missiles are full of water.
Talks with President Xi. I have a great relationship. If Hillary...
Do you? Really? Based on what?
Hillary Clinton would have won, you would have had a nuclear war with North Korea. Kim Jong-un, I got along with him too. Nobody ever got to talk to him except me. And I got not only talked to him, I got along with him great. It's good to get along with people that have massive nuclear weapons, and they have a large nuclear stockpile.
Great. And why? Wouldn't the purpose be to kind of get them to not have a nuclear stockpile? Wouldn't that be kind of the goal?
So,
or are you just threatening people at this point? Like, I have these fuckers on speed dial. Don't mess with me, or they'll send somebody over to kill you.
I did a job.
Because it's kind of what it sounds like.
If you go back, I did the job, and we made America great again. And these people, what they're doing to our country, they're allowing millions and millions of people to pour through. It's an invasion into our country, and they're coming from prisons.
Yes, the great toddler invasion.
And they're coming from mental institutions, and insane asylums and prisons are being emptied all over the world, not just in South America.
And they're giving these people rowboats all over the world. Yeah. So Belarus emptying out their insane asylums and stuff, and then what it is, they put them on a sailboat, and then they basically say, "Go west, young man." What are you talking about?
All over the world, they're being emptied.
All over the world. Everybody's got the word. Now I'm in an ELO hole.
Out into our country. We're like a dumping ground. And you know what else is coming in? Terrorists are coming in.
Really? Do you know them personally? I mean, you know all their bosses. So maybe, did they tell you where they are? Maybe you could make a phone call.
And we have to stop it.
Okay, well, hey, I don't know why you're not tearing open your shirt and showing everybody the emblem on your chest, and going and like, I can't finish this interview, Sean, because I got to go kick ass. I got to go terrorist stopping.
Mr. President, 11 months or 10 months is a very dangerous period.
We have been able to count the numbers of people coming from Iran and Syria, thousands from Egypt, thousands from Afghanistan.
Right. If you can count them, then you know how many are here.
12,000 from Russia, 26,000 from China, showing up at our southern border. Nobody's ever going to convince me that all of them are coming here for a better life for them and their family, and amongst them are not people that have nefarious intentions.
Right, but obviously, you do realize you're shitting the bed on your claim that the border is open and they're just walking through. Because if we know where they're from and we know how many there are, that means they are being interdicted at the border. They're being the Customs and Border Patrol are getting them, right? Otherwise, how the fuck? What do they just go? That guy looks Russian to me. Okay, put him in the Russia column. That guy looks Arabic. I don't know. Maybe he's Jewish. I don't know. It's always hard to tell. At this time it's a little dark. Let's wait. Let's tell you what. Shoot at him. See if he runs back, and then maybe he'll cross when the light is better.
Let me ask you this. Usually, after 4 years, the president can ask a question: are you better off than you were 4 years ago? I don't think Joe Biden can run on that. As a matter of fact, they have pretty much telegraphed what they're going to run on. Democracy in peril. Trump is evil. Trump is evil. Trump is.
Also infrastructure and great jobs numbers and manufacturing and the Chips and Science Act basically shutting down the Chinese economy almost entirely. So, again, what's he going to run on? Things were so good before I let COVID fuck everything up.
Is evil and dangerous, and you've got to fear him. January 6th.
I don't have to fear him. I fear his randomness in, around power. You know what I mean? It's like Trump is like, spilled water rolling towards a frayed electrical cable. I'm not afraid of water. It's just the random haphazard damage that he does.
January 6th, and then the usual playbook. Republicans are racist and sexist and...
Not all of them. Just, and don't forget, by the way, some of them are dopes.
I agree. I'm a dope. Have every phobia known to man, whether it's real or not. And they want dirty air and water. That's all they've got.
It's kind of a lot, though. It's kind of a lot. I mean, especially with the Roe v. Wade stuff and like sexism. I noticed you kind of stayed away from that one. But I mean, it's curious that you just kind of, you didn't throw women's rights in there at all. You didn't bring that up because that's a fucking winner for the Democrats, right?
See any one issue that Joe Biden can run on.
Besides actually passing an infrastructure bill and insulin costs going down and essential medication costs going down and unemployment being under 4% for like the longest streak in fucking history, wages going up and outpacing inflation. Like,
what will your answer to their predictable attacks be?
Well, Russia. No.
Well, that's all they have is right, because their economy's been terrible. The inflation is destroyed. Anybody that made even a little more money, even a lot more money, it more than got eaten alive by inflation. When you look at the price increases of energy, of housing, and I mean rental housing. I looked the other day, it's up almost 51%. The cost of bacon quadrupled.
Oh, my God. Bacon? What? When did that happen? Oh, for a little while, and then went back down, did it? Bacon, is it? You're going with bacon?
All of these
I guess that's his idea of a kitchen table issue.
things. I mean, food costs, clothing costs. It's so much that no matter what you're making, it doesn't matter.
Yeah, people are walking around naked, and they're like carrying one piece of bacon, just hugging it. It's worth more than gold. We call it fat gold.
Inflation is known over the years, over hundreds of years. It's known as a country buster. It breaks
as a country. I thought it was a country destroyer, but okay.
Countries. It
break it or bust.
Broke Germany. It broke a lot of countries.
Yeah, mainly Germany, though. You mean the where it set up Hitler, and you were like, inflation's really what made Hitler come to power. Wait a second.
We've had the worst inflation we've had, I think, in 78 years. They say 52. It's probably more than 78.
What do you mean? Is that your lifetime? And so that's the idea, is that only thing matters is like during your existence. Also, what the fuck are you talking about?
It's been a disaster, and all in the wrong places.
Well, so runaway inflation is fine in certain places?
I had no inflation, and I had the greatest economy ever.
You literally had deflation. The oil went below. It went negative. It was negative $35 a barrel.
We had gasoline at $1.87. Now it's $4 or $5. But by the way, they're working together with other countries, sadly, because it's artificial, because they're going to give it up right after the election. You've seen that before.
What?
But they're working to get gasoline prices down. It's an artificial reduction. But the gasoline was up to $6, $7, $8 a gallon. And it still is very high. It's much too high. But we had the greatest economy.
Okay, so he thinks they're working with, we're working with other countries to bring down gas prices. The administration is working with other countries to bring down gas prices. And then right after the election, they're going to let it go back up again. I don't know.
In history. And what else did we have? No inflation. We had the safest border in the history of our country.
Thanks, COVID.
And it was like
and then he built the wall. And then look what happened. Fucking wall.
A beautiful thing was taking place. We had a border, and I got Mexico to do a lot for us. Now Mexico's saying we want $5 billion just to talk. Mexico wouldn't have talked to me that way. I have a great relationship with the president. But Mexico, they had to pay a lot. You know, they gave us 28,000 soldiers free of charge.
Yeah, it's so weird.
To guard our border. And
And by the way, no, they didn't. They're not there. What are you talking about? This is during construction.
First presented that to them, they laughed. They thought I was kidding. But through a series of negotiations, they gave us everything we wanted. Stay in Mexico. Remember, remain in Mexico? That was
Yeah, it's not as good as stay in Mexico.
me. Remain in Mexico. Nobody can come in. They remain. You think Mexico was happy about that? They gave it to me. Catch and release in Mexico.
It's during COVID.
I call it catch and release in Mexico. We had catch and release in the United States, and Mexico did that. They gave us things that nobody can believe. The State
I called it throw them back if they're not big enough to keep.
Department couldn't believe it. The Border Patrol people, they couldn't believe it.
Shit.
Nobody could believe it.
Nobody still believes it. It's interesting. It's one of the consistencies of your presidency to now. You know, consistent things from then till now is that nobody believes any of this because it's fucking nonsense.
Nobody could believe it. You know, if you talk to Tom Homan and if you talk to anybody from Border Patrol, and they have great people.
They do, except those, they stopped enforcing the border, right? Though I heard that Biden told them the border is open, let anybody through, and they were like, okay. We got an order from the White House. We're not going to stop anybody. And so they're just letting people through. It's weird. I don't know why they would do that. Maybe you can explain it.
They have great people. They'll tell you the greatest president in history for the border, for immigration, was Trump. Not even a contest. Not even a contest.
Let me ask you about these states that are trying to remove you from the ballot. I mean, it's kind of ironic, isn't it? A party that is making an argument that democracy is in peril couldn't be more undemocratic as they try to remove your name from even running and even having your name on the ticket. Now,
yeah, but he participated in an insurrection after he had already taken the oath of office.
I don't think this is going to...
The only reason he can't be allowed on the ballot, and the main argument is that his oath ain't worth shit. He has proved it. An oath is only as valuable as many people keep it. And the minute you let somebody break it and then take it again, it starts to water it down.
Hold. I have to believe the Supreme Court will intervene.
Why? There's already a remedy in the Constitution. They can have a vote in the House and Senate. And if 60% of both houses think he should be on the ballot, he's back on the ballot.
If there's real justice, it should be a unanimous 9-0 opinion, in my view.
Why? Because that would mean they would overtake states' rights. States have the right to do this.
But what is your reaction? Because you're the person they're trying to kick off the ticket, but they're the ones claiming you're not democratic. Pretty ironic.
Well, they're, in the defense of these states, they're kicking him off because he's anti-democratic, because he swore an oath to protect the democracy and then he attacked it. So he can't be trusted to take the oath again.
We put on 3 great justices, and you have some other...
They should, and I gave them $28 billion, so...
Great justices up there, and they're not going to take the vote away from the people. I mean, right now, you saw in the history of the Iowa primary, the history of it, goes back a long time. I won by the most. Nobody's ever won, as you know, because you covered it very well, but everybody covered it. Even the bad reporters covered it this way. There's nobody even close. I doubled up and more than doubled up the second best. Now the
Right. You're just going to blow past the low turnout, right?
Second best. It stood for a long time, as you know, that record. But they want to make sure, I'm sure the Supreme Court is going to say, we're not going to take the vote away from the people. Now, Biden is a threat to democracy. He's an absolute threat to democracy. He's very dangerous for a couple of reasons. Number one, he's grossly incompetent, which is the number one reason. But he's also...
So he's an accidental threat.
Actually, in his own way, it's not him. It's the people that surround him. You got some very bad people surrounding him at that desk.
Oh, you mean the people that somehow helped him, I guess, win office and cheat his way into the Oval Office, even though you were president? The people that, I guess, fucked you up?
The people running the Department of Justice surrounding him. They're young and they're smart and
they're oiled up and they're sexy and they all have six packs.
They're communists and they're Marxists and they're fascists and they're running.
And whatever ists you can, they're vegans probably.
Running this country. They're running it right into the ground. But I don't think the Supreme Court would do it because...
Well, I mean, there's a difference between running something into the ground and actually landing the plane when it was on fire for 4 years. I think there's...
You can't take the vote. You know, I'm leading in every poll. I'm leading Biden, but I'm leading the remaining Republicans. There's two of them, and they're barely hanging on. How can you possibly take the vote away?
I mean, just in the last 2 days, two credible polls. Suffolk and St. Anselm were right. Suffolk nailed your number in, I think they were off by 1. They had you at 52, not at 51. They have you up, I think, by 16 now. St. Anselm has you up by 14. These are the most recent polls. These are post-Iowa polls.
Well, that's in New Hampshire. But if you look at the national polls, in New Hampshire, we're doing great. And take a look at the national polls. I'm up by 65 points. I mean, 65 points, and I'm up by 11, 12, 13 points on the Democrats.
Mm-hmm.
I know you have to run to an event. And by the way, our deepest sympathy to the First Lady on the loss of her mom. Please convey that to her for us.
Well, thank you. She was a great woman, Sean.
What is your closing message to the people of New Hampshire?
It's very simple. It's make America great again. But I think very important...
No, it's make America great over and over. Magoo!
Before we do this, because you were talking about the Supreme Court, they have two votes that are very important coming up. One is, as we discussed, we call it Colorado or whatever, but...
Yeah, Colorado or whatever.
You know, I really believe they're going to leave the people to vote. Again,
they're going to leave the people to vote.
The leading candidate in both parties. You're leading the Democrats by many, many points. I mean, it's hard to imagine they would do. And most states have already approved it, as you know. Very few states have done that. This is Colorado and a couple of others at this moment. But they have another important, and that's immunity for the president. The president of the United States...
Jesus Christ. Really, you want to end on this?
I'm not talking about myself. I'm talking about any president has to have immunity. Because if you take immunity away from the president, so important, you will have a president that's not going to be able to do anything.
So you want Joe Biden to have absolute immunity. You want him to be able to do anything he wants and have immunity. This is how I know your entire argument is bullshit. This is the same nonsense we get from Alex Jones. There is a giant organization that runs the whole world that's killing everybody and trying to depopulate the earth, but they let you run your fucking mouth and tell everybody the plan? Are you out of your fucking mind? There's only two ways this is possible. That, you know, it's possible that anything close to what you're saying is true. One is that they know it won't make a fucking difference, and you're bullshitting and you don't know what you're talking about, so they just let you're sort of an accidental disinfo campaign on their part. Or you work for them and they intentionally give you shit to say so that idiots look at it like the fucking, like a puppet when kids are getting a photo taken. So they're like, look at the birdie. Like that's the best you could say about Alex Jones. You could say that he's either he works for the Illuminati or none of it's true. And at the same time, this motherfucker, if he believed anything he said about the weaponization of the Justice Department or the government and all that, like the literal phrase, the weaponization, if you actually believe that, would you argue for the total immunity of that person, of the person running that right now? If they're your enemy, are you out of your fucking mind?
Because when he leaves office, the opposing party president, if it's the opposing party, will indict the president for doing something that should have been good. Like Obama dropped missiles and they ended up hitting a kindergarten or a school or the apartment house. A lot of people were killed.
Yeah, you mean the rules of engagement, the accidental killing of civilians in a battlefield that you removed? This motherfucker removed the rules of engagement. This is why he's stuck on this, by the way. This is why he brings this up, is because when you compare something to like accidental collateral damage, stuff that's not supposed to happen that does happen, right? He did more civilians were killed with drone strikes in his first year in office than in all of the 8 years Biden was in office. Okay, even when we had more people in Iraq and Afghanistan, even as they pared people down to a lower number during the first year of his presidency, more people were killed, more civilians were killed by drone strikes under his presidency. Like the murder rate was like up, or the death rate was up 80% in the first fucking year. And I would like to remind you that all those deaths are on the people who voted for him over Hillary Clinton because she's a warmonger. Right? Fuck off. The idea somehow that this guy is better on war is absurd. It's an act of idiotic violence on its own. But the reason this sticks with him is because he knows he was indiscriminate in his bombing. He specifically told them to be indiscriminate. He said, you know, take the leash off, let him go. That's why he was like, we can beat ISIS. And everybody's like, it'll take 4 years. And he's like, we can do it in 4 weeks. Well, yeah, you can do it in 4 weeks if you don't give a fuck about creating the next ISIS after that, or you don't give a shit about killing civilians. The reason it takes longer is because to be strategic, it takes time. It takes intelligence. It takes, you know, engaging with the locals. It takes an international community working together. It's a long fucking process. But if you don't give a fuck and you don't consider the civilians of another country human, yeah, you can do it in 3 weeks. You can Nagasaki the fuck out of it. That's why I dropped a Moab.
Well, if that's the case, he's going to end up being indicted when he leaves office. He meant well. The missile went in the wrong direction.
Yeah, that's not the same thing. You can't be indicted for that.
And other things. Look at Biden. What would happen to Biden? He's killed our country with his policies. The border is a disaster. Everything he does is a disaster. What he did in Afghanistan is the most embarrassing moment in the
Yeah, there's no law against being embarrassing. Otherwise, you would have gotten the chair, quite frankly. I don't even know why you want to argue
history
this.
of our country, giving them $85 billion worth of equipment, killing our soldiers, wounding horribly our soldiers, and leaving people behind. Well, when he leaves office, if he doesn't have immunity, now, I think it's horrible what he did, but he probably, I don't know, it's hard to believe, but he probably meant well. It's hard to believe that he meant well, but the man is incompetent. But you have to leave immunity with a president. If a president
This is just fucking gibberish.
is afraid to act because they're worried about being indicted when they leave office, a president of the
No, a president should be concerned that if they act illegally, that they will get indicted. Why the fuck do you think George Bush had his fucking attorneys drafting all these papers on enhanced interrogation? Because he was afraid he would go to jail. Because he was aware that they were on the edge of something illegal. I personally think they crossed that line. But the reason why he didn't just go, fuck it, just, string them up, and then if they squawk, kill them. The only reason they didn't do that is because it would have been illegal, because he would have been prosecuted. Can you imagine George W. Bush and Dick Cheney in the first 3 years of the Iraq-Afghanistan wars with total immunity? Are you out of your fucking mind?
The United States has to have immunity, and the
United States has to have immunity. Yeah, no, because if we have immunity, then if somebody like you gets in charge, you think there's anything that's going to stop this motherfucker from just slaughtering civilians everywhere they turn? What he means is he wants the same rules that Putin has. Putin can send the fucking Wagnerites and all that shit down to Sudan, and they could just fucking slaughter people. They could send rape squads into Ukraine, and if anybody, like, certainly no one inside the country is gonna go after them, but outside the country, they're just gonna say fuck you.
The court's going to be ruling on that. If they don't have immunity, no president is going to act. You're going to have guys that just sit in office and are afraid to do anything.
Bullshit. No, if you're going to do something right, then you'll have to, the idea that you would have to maybe defend it in court after you were president. That's what courage is, especially if it's a difficult thing. Also, I'd like to remind you that he golfed more than any other president in history.
By the way, it is ironic. It took you a long time. You were once critical of me for pointing out Joe's cognitive deficiencies.
And then you started showing your own. Very bold.
I think it's very transparent now for the world to see. I was more right than I thought I was. We're looking forward. We'll see you in New Hampshire on Tuesday. We really appreciate your time. Thank you, Mr. President, for being with us. We appreciate it.
Did he almost say Sister President?
Yeah, Sean, one thing. I wasn't critical of you. I was critical of you joking about it. I wasn't critical of you.
That's true.
I didn't think you should be joking about it.
I did. You know what? You were right at the time.
I just wanted to give you a little correction, but that's okay.
Also, what the fuck is the difference? If you criticize somebody for joking about something, then all right. I think I know what he means, which is it's not a topic you should joke about because he knows he's slipping and it scares the fuck out of him that he's going to be the butt of those jokes, which he absolutely is these days. He's like, it's not funny when people make fun of you for being a doddering old fart. I'm a doddering old fart. It's starting to get scary. But the fact, but he is, you are criticizing him. He was doing it.
I took it to heart. I mean that. All right. Thank you, Mr. President.
I know that.
Appreciate your time.
I know that. Thank you very much. Thank you.
Hey, Sean Hannity.
Yes. By the way, hi chat room. You guys are wonderful. Like, subscribe, give a thumbs up, support the show.